Hey, I'm Kev. Welcome back to MXGP3 as here we are in Italy around Mantova. And it's a hard packed serve. It's a bit different from the previous couple of rounds. And look how tight and twisty this track is. Very different from Britain, where we rode last time out and the hammer was imperious round there. So let's see if it'll be equally as great round this very different circuit. As we're using once again the Husqvarna rider as our guide. Very wide open in the beginning as you can see, but already we're getting the tight corners. With the hard pack serves should be a bit trickier to make moves or try and use the ruts to go around corners. It's almost pushed over there. Oh, the Brit, not liking us getting in front of him. As we go past Flare corner and Flare jump can barely see. Gone over that. It's almost landing on the front brake there. Down the second, got a bit of a flip foot corner there. And again over the jump. Massive flares. With the sun, with the flares, just visibility getting dampened slightly around this track. But it's nice to have something a bit different after the terrible trio. Then Britain, which was as wide open as the Atlantic Ocean at times. We go down the hill now. Now we're going into a series of hairpin turns to go up and down hill. I know it sounds very familiar, doesn't it? But it can speed nicely through the corners. You can see nice particle bits again with it just hanging in the air, as you would expect around this track. Now with the hard packed surface, it is going to linger in the air, that dust. You can see already around a couple of places on the track, visibility very limited. Imagine it in a race now. As they go across the line, do a 44-1. Look at, he's already sleeping immediately. Resting on the job, the Hillman. What the hell? As he is again the fastest in qualifying by 1.3 seconds from the Brit. Good return to form after a terrible home round for him. Then Hurlington third, the Swiss rider in fourth on the Suzuki. There's our title rival in fifth, over 100 points back on the Yamaha, with Tonkov in sixth, Fernandez in seventh on the Kawasaki, Bernardini in eighth on the TM, Covington ninth on the Husqvarna, and Latvian in 10th on the KTM, just ahead of Petrov and Boges. So once again, qualifying is a familiar story. Will the race turn out to be as well? As here we are preparing for the first race, getting ourselves strapped in for what should be a thrill ride of 5 laps. As in his home round, Montesa is getting the TV time alongside the South African. So alongside us is the Brit and Hurlins. The Rockstar Red Bull and Circuit sponsorship. Guess the other one out from that. That's a dive down the inside alongside our teammate into the first corner. And we're getting pushed right by the Latvian in the next corner. We're down to 14th. Shocking start once again. But again, Mounds come to the rescue. Jumps come to the rescue as we're battling with the Kawasaki's for top 5. And it's like Covington's battling his teammate, the Brit, for 5th. But we take it round the outside in here. You get past Boges on the KTM. Round flare jump. Low visibility jumpers almost down. It's about keeping all twos. As the Belgium on the Yamaha is down behind. Maybe in that same spot he actually went down. He's having a good battle here for third. Then it's like the top two getting away. Hurlins and the Frenchman on the Yamaha. Looking down the inside here. Oh, no room there. Getting muscled out. As there we go into a couple of jumps. That gives us third. Impressive scrub from the Frenchman in front. Didn't think of that. As always battling back. Look at that, we're using all of the track to stay in third, but it's not working. Oh, here comes Covington from nowhere. The American up into 5th. Fancied 4th there. So yeah, this might be a section of the track where we're losing out slightly. But we're still clinging on to 4th. And we're leaning on the front, no. That's allowed. The American by, that's allowed. Bogus round the outside on the KTM, impressive stuff. As you get back up into 5th, past the Husqvarna. And now we approach the line. so quickly after that jump, so easy to run wide as you saw at the end of my qualifying effort and crash. There we are in 4th. This is not going Hammer's way, and oh, almost into the side. No opponent there. So we're going over the mounds to the rescue, hopefully. Wants to catch up, as in this like the Frenchman's getting away at the front. Well, we came to a stop out at corner, kept it in too high a gear. Not good at all. So struggling to get a top 5 here, struggling to get even on the podium. But having a good battle for once. I know at times, especially in Britain, it was way too easy. But Hammer's finding it a bit tough here around this track. On this hard packed surface, not his favourite. Definitely, his opponents have stepped up their game round here in Italy. Now the second Italian round after we had a similar track. They're pretty tight and twisty, blind at a couple of parts. Bit tougher than this track, but we found with their hard packed surface it's actually a bit more lenient than this surface. Which we're definitely losing out in this part of the track, going up and down the hill. Look at them fly over the mounds. We're struggling to keep up. Got a battle for the lead once again in it. Sight Hearns is caught back up to the Frenchman. We're down. Got caught on. Caught on that rut. So we're down to 10th. Struggling to get top 10 and all. Almost down again. Just get past the Kawasaki. Now trying to make a move up into 8th. Down the inside maybe. Into the left-hander. Oh, a bit caught on the exit. So halfway through this race, this is a battle. As you are up to 8th. Fantastic race round here in Italy. Get past Covington up into 7th. The American must be bored of seeing us get past in this race. This Hammer's definitely laid down the door. And there's Farner Rider. So we go into the flip-flops. That's better. Seeing it now, we've pulled them back. We're actually riding a bit better than we did. They were right up there. Let's go into the left hand and look at using that right pretty nicely. Is that my teammate in front? Can't quite tell. Didn't tell with all that muck on your jerseys after a few laps. Very difficult to tell who your opponents are at times. Especially if they're your teammate, apparently. Doesn't look like he is. That looks like a Yamaha in front. So it could be Osland. Once again having a good race. So we're getting on a bit of a roll. In the good sense this time, not in the bad sense of him crashing. So yeah, definitely might need to make some suspension adjustments for the next race. We are losing out majorly over those jumps and losing out over these mounds. Look at that coming to just fly by into 7th. As he does a major scrub at the end of the lap. We take him back. He's 7th, I'll be taking 6th as well. We can round the outside. Oh, that's never going to work on this hard packed surface. You can see why you don't want to go offline. As we've gone to the penultimate lap of the race. This might be the race that the championship needed as well to make it exciting. Down here battling for a top 5. Well, the Frenchman is battling for the lead, for the win with Hearns. The last we saw of him. No, he might be cleared off into the distance by now. Trying to get a good run in the second part there as we bash by Covington. The Hammer taking no prisoners in the second half of this race. As Covington gets back by and on home turf. Trepepe's down. Disappointing to see for the home crowd there. Not one of their front line riders as we land on Covington there. But still disappointed nonetheless to see a home rider not have the home round they want, or home race they want. It's again skipping on the surface like a stone. Not what we wanted. We're gaining on braking, but it's just out the corners and over these mounds, not really gaining anything. So we go into big rut corner. Take the inside, get up into fifth early. That seems to be a big difference. As you get past Covington, having a fantastic race on battle with the American. As now we go on to the final lap of this race in 7th. Can we make it a top 5? As it has bunched up in front as he takes 6th there, down the inside. Make that 5th, and someone else is gone. Slowly, and oh, that's the Frenchman right in front. I thought he's running away with this. It might be Herdins who's doing that, as he is coming back late in this race. Hillman up into 4th, he is sniffing a podium. From nowhere. Struggling to get into the top 5 for the previous couple of laps. And suddenly, he's found pace. He's got slightly wide, all that's allowed. The Dutchman down the inside, but you couldn't take advantage of that. And so we go all over the Yamaha in front. Then dive it down the inside, push him wide. Of course, the Hammer has no respect for his main title rival. There is the leader right in front. But now we're coming to the part of the track where we were bad. The Hillman needs some, make up some time in the second race. He's going to challenge for the win. Still third would be a fantastic result. After dropping back, after falling down in this part of the track that's coming up into big rut corners. Oh, we got it down the first accidentally. That might have cost us a podium to a title rival. As he's going for second now. First is long gone. Will we grab third at the line? Oh, just not. I don't think. Then the Frenchman held on. But again, another bash of his title rival for the Hillman. No, the Frenchman certainly paying for that as he does get third spot by. Is that 32 thousandths of a second, very close in the end. As it is a Dutch 1-2, a KTM 1-2 bogus ahead of Herdins. Not the Dutchman we expected to run away with it. We got Honus in 5th on the KTM. Then Tokov in 6th on the Yamaha. Top has Varner, the Brit in 7th ahead of his teammate Covington. Fantastic race on battle with him and the Brit. Petrov in 9th on Monticelli, the top Italian in their home round in 10th. On the KTM, where is my teammate? Down in 17th. Shocking race for Bernardini. Very disappointing, but we do get a 4th, get a decent amount of points, only lose 2 points to the Frenchman. But can we do much better and get a podium in the second race? So here we are preparing once again for a race round here in Italy. As Monticelli and the South African get the TV time. We're holding the clutch in, we're going a bit back from the gate, and it's like we get away with a decent start, the same as Herdins. The Dutchman is normally super at these starts, and look at that dive down the inside as the Latvian gets the whole shot. Been a long time since I've said that. Mr. Hammer is on the attack right away, taking the lead past his title rival, the Frenchman. And he's got to take advantage of this first half of the lap. In the second half, it does fall apart slightly. For the CM riders, oh, Petrov, the Bulgarian buddy is down on the Kawasaki. Disappointing to see. It's all cut the inside bank there on the left-hander of that chicane. Did not want that. I've got a couple of tight corners. Don't look at power so early out of that left-hander. And oh, breaking way too late into the hairpin. And so we are going into the second half of this lap. This is the part where the Hammer suffers. As we go over these mounds, I forgot to make suspension adjustments, so I'm still going to be bouncing all over the place. This Hillman. Hope his head is not shaking by the end of this race. Might have accounted for that mistake in the first race, so he just didn't know where he was. So out of it. So we go into the big rut. Didn't get it down to first this time. Much better. Just landing on the upslopes of these ruts or mounds to go across the line for the first time with a comfortable lead, it sounds like. Not quite sure how to take that first corner, but that will do. I feel I want to take that really fast, but again with the hard pack surface, the bike's just skidding over it. We're out of the groove. Trying to take it without. It's almost a death sentence. We're crashing for days. Let's go past the flares. Good amount of flares here in Italy. Good return to form for the flares. After missing a couple of rounds, Britain had a couple of good flare spots, but I think this track out does it. You can see so condensed, so packed. You probably expect it to be much better against Britain, which is quite wide open, as you saw in the last round. And this is a repeat of the last round, isn't it? The Hammer just strolling away from the opposition. And not even in this weak section of the track are they close to take advantage. With Nick on the left hand side at the chasing pack. Gonna be difficult to keep up the whole race though. We didn't keep up the whole race in the first race. We had a good couple of laps and then fell back for a couple and then really came back on the last lap. Be interesting to see if we can keep it up this time. All 5 laps. There we go, landing on the top of that mountain. That was a much better run for the set of mountains. Let's do a scrub. Haven't done that for ages. Crowd really appreciate that as you go on to the third lap of the race. Doesn't look like you've got to take that in third and be really slow around it. You accelerate way over these jumps and mounds. Really is the Hammer at home in that section. Get another scrub on. Just to scrub over everything, shall we? Got to let go of the power there, immediately when you land that jump. Down to second. Oh, I should have scrubbed over this jump. Didn't have the momentum though going into it. Here we go, let's try over this jump. No, once again not really having much momentum as Tonkov, the Russian rider on the Yamaha, down from 8th. Another good run for the Russian as well. He seems to be having a decent season. He's been very up and down, like quite a lot of riders, but he's putting it together now. It seems like the Yamahas have improved. Just in general, as this season has gone on. You've seen Osland up there, the Swede, you've seen the Belgian rider up there. It's not just the Frenchman carrying that manufacturer on their shoulders. They've got quite a few good riders there. Same with the TM. We've got Bernardini. Yeah, he's not had the best run recently, but before Hillman came in and shouted his house, you know, he's a regular top 10 rider. It's finding it a bit difficult now with the Hammer alongside him as we go on to the penultimate lap of the race. Over halfway through this race. Definitely I'm enjoying this track. Not as much as Britain. I do like my wide open track, softer surface as well. I'm not the biggest fan of the hard pack surface. Can't ride how I would like. You know, riding with the ruts, with the back end out slightly. You can see just skipping at times over the surface. Not what I like. So a great challenging track here in Italy. Like the other track we've visited so far in Italy. You know, it's undulating despite it also having its, you know, up and downhill hairpin turn section. But just with the surface, with how quite tight it is at times, especially in Big Rut Corner. Don't be going wide in that corner as you saw in the first race. You want to be sticking to the inside of that rut ideally. And if you have to, go to the outside if someone's taking that inside and try and make a move around the outside like we saw with Bogues in that first race, which really set him up for the win It looked like that Dutchman on the first lap. But here we go. We take the Bogears line round the outside. Oh, that's much better. You can see why the Dutchman took that. As I don't know what that was. Jump. Oh, I think the Hammer's head has been knocked around a lot over those mountains late in the lap. He's gone to the final lap of the race. Not sure what that scrub was. Very poor. We're just producing consistent lap times over the rest of the field. Look, can even go flat over those mountains. Let go. After it, when we're in the air after going over that final mound. May go wide into the next corner, but you can see you can definitely carry momentum out of it. Again, off the power. You see with my riding style in this game, just trying to get off the power, lean the bike into the corners using these ruts. Kind of guide them around the corner as well. Very different from MXGP3 where I was mostly, clamping down on the throttle. Without this undulating track surface as well, all these ruts, you could do that. MXGP2, you can't do that in MXGP3. You're already seeing like places, even like Qatar, of the ruts, you can't go flat out in corners that you used to do. You have to temper the throttle. Which is pretty nice. There is no much more of this in this game. It feels like gameplay wise, but then you have the collisions and you have to look at the graphics and you're like, is this more realistic? Not quite sure what you're seeing there. But you definitely feel it when you're playing it. Oh, that was a ambitious scrub, massive scrub to end it. The crowd cheer, the Hammer cheers across the line, grabbing another victory. I think the only circuit he hasn't won at yet is Thailand when he had that horrible round, but he wins in Italy by 13 seconds from the Frenchman, his main rival in the Yamaha. Demoralising for the opposition, seeing that once again on the track where he's not the best. Honus in third on the KTM, Erdins in fourth on the KTM, Bogears in fifth on the KTM. And the Associate Yamahas again, Oslind in sixth, ahead of the top has run of the Brit. The Swiss on the Suzuki in eighth, the Yamaha in ninth for Tonkov, and then South Africa rounding out the top 10. Just ahead of Tropepe on the Husqvarna. Great to see him have a fantastic round, especially after that first race where he suffered that heartbreaking fall. The Belgium on the Yamaha in 12th, that Frenchman on the Honda in 13th. With a decent race, but there's our teammate down in 17th on the TM. Once again, not putting together the weekend. Look at Covington down in 20th on the Husqvarna. Monticelli in 19th on the KTM. Petrov in 18th on the Kawasaki. Definitely a strange result in that second race, but you can definitely see he's won it once again. Overall by a single point this time from the Frenchman. Bogears 2 points back and Hernan's 3 points back, so very competitive overall, but not in the championship. 105 point lead for Hillman. It's only a matter of time before he's won this championship. Ahead of the French with Hurlins in third, the top Dutchman by 70 points from Bogears on the KTM. Then the Brits still in fifth in the championship. Look at Tonkov gain on him on that Hammer, just 10 points back. Honus in seventh. There's a bit of a gap to the Swiss rider on the Suzuki, up to eighth, ahead of Compton by 2 points. Then Monticelli in the top 10 by 3 points for my teammate with the Belgium in 12th. And there is Petrov in 30th. Oslind up to 14th ahead of Fernandez, who really has dropped down the order on the Kawasaki. There's the South African 16th. And then we come to the lower end of the field with Getterman in 17th, my former teammate. Honda in 19th with the Frenchman, and Husqvarna pair rounding out the standings. Right, Tropepe having a fantastic second race there on home turf. So we didn't get a race objective, we didn't get 47 points, but we got the win in the second race. We achieved our rider challenge by a single point, so we get some decent credits, and we improve our skills once again, breaking throttle management control up to 73 of rain ability. You haven't seen rain in quite a few rounds with Jewett, but we see it next time out. So unfortunately I will see you then.